Hi, welcome to a very random popping up of me. If you haven't met me before, I'm Crystal. So I wanted to riff on something today. I have a telecall coming up called The Genius of Your Choices. And this telecall had another name last week. It was called Changing the Lies That You're Broken. And it's this, so the first thing I want to address is you might be confused, and I get it. I'm confusing. I understand. The second thing I want to talk about, hi Isabel, hi Cynthia. Hey, will you guys share this? Because I didn't tell anybody I was going live. Just, let's have a party. Hi Bruna, hi Nikki. Genius. You can call me that anytime. That's going to get you everywhere. Hi Miss Katerina. I wanted to chat with you. So this call I have coming on Tuesday, so let's talk about this. So since the abuse class about 2 to 3 weeks ago, maybe you guys saw my video on It's Not Personal. Nothing is personal. People are mean because they're mean. They're insane because they're insane. If you haven't seen that video, go to my YouTube channel and watch It's Not Personal. That was a game-changing piece of information. And, I'm in the class and it's like day 2 and I'm inspired and I'm like, hi Brian. I'm like, I had to create something out of this. So I create this telecall called Changing the Lies That You're Broken. Because I'm like, oh my God, there's like so many lies. Hi, Pablo. That we buy about stuff. Like there's like, it was just this obvious, I was having this massive like, oh my God, there's lies everywhere. And when this information came out of like, shit's not personal. People are mean because they're mean because they choose to be mean because that exists on the planet, right? What it did is it broke loose this entire way of creating my world that I'd created from when I was small. Like, as a kid, you don't know you're not given a manual, and you're not told like, I'm gonna be mean to you, but it's not personal. It's just because I'm a dick, right? Like nobody tells you that. They project at you that it's your fault and that it's and so you just buy all this stuff. And then you continue going through your life. And even as adults, as really aware, psychic, empathic, intuitive adults, we're still trying to heal from this particular place where we've bought into something that turns out isn't true. So when I got that awareness, I was like, holy fuck, like what are the other lies that we've bought that, that we're broken, that we need to heal, that, what's the lie of self-worth? I just started seeing all these places where there was a truth, there was something that was true, mashed up with this lie. And it was this massive moment for me where it's like, oh my God, if I bought that lie, what other lies did I buy? And da-da-da-da. So I create this call. And then it got a lot of views. I got more views on that call than anything else I've created so far. And nobody signed up. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to change the name. So I changed the name. So now it's called The Genius of Your Choices. I'm getting to a point here, so give me a second. So now I'm looking at this new call, and the thing about being a me, if you're watching this, you're probably a me. Is, we do things even that don't make a lot of sense to ourselves. We're like, that energy, that title, that matches, let's do a class on that thing. And then you're like, that thing starts facilitating you. And you're like, what is this thing about, actually? And so yesterday I was living, I woke up, I had coffee, did the thing, had some things, had my classes, I'm alive and did my stuff. But yesterday was like this, like, do you ever have those days where you're just dissatisfied and disgruntled about like everything? Maybe some of you don't. You're yogis on a mountain. I get it. I was like, just everything was not wrong and wrong. It just was just like this. So I looked at John. Poor John. John is amazing. So I looked at John and I'm like, can I take your car? I need to be by myself. So I took myself down to the water. I took a cat nap in the car in the sun. It's also very gray in Vancouver. So it's like, it was sunny yesterday and, good. I'm not the only one. Awesome. And, so I'm catnapping in the sun and I'm walking by the water and I'm still just like, and the thing that was kind of going through my world is like, God, I'm kind of alone. And it wasn't like this crying to my beer. I'm lonely. It was just like, I just kind of felt alone, solo, only. I have nobody I can talk to. So I reached out to one of my friends that, actually is somebody I can talk to. Turns out I had multiple people I could talk to, by the way. So first of all, when you're feeling that way, you probably have people you can talk to. Just ask the universe to let them show up. And I ended up having a few conversations about this energy. And sometimes you don't know what's going on for yourself, right? So you kind of need to chat it out. And maybe that's a girl thing, I don't know. But chatted it out, and I was like, and then we got to this one thing where what came out of my mouth was, well, they can, but they won't. And for the first, I've said that 100,000 times, about like, I'll be working with people. I'm like, well, they can, but they just won't. Or with my mom, she can, but she won't, And I don't know if you guys notice the energy in that, but there's not a lot of space and lightness to that. And we talk about an access consciousness, like what's light for you is true for you, and what's heavy, hi, thank you, Roberto. What's heavy is a lie, right? With light is, anyway, that had no lightness to it. But that has been my story, one of my, like it's personal. This has been one of my stories for like a really long time. And I heard it yesterday. I finally heard it come out of my mouth. And because we've been really talking about an access consciousness, whose lies and what lies are you using to create the blank you're choosing, right? And I was running that yesterday. Whose lies and what lies am I using to create the frustration I'm choosing? And it wasn't changing. And anyway, so I'm blah, blah, blahing to a friend of mine. I hear this come out of my mouth. The thing is, like, when you are creating your life from a place that is not true, you can't actually change. It's like, I don't even know what it's like. It's kind of like building your house on a swamp, right? Like the swamp's never gonna, that's a terrible example because that, then your house will fall into the swamp. But it's like building your house on something that actually is never going to, like, it's never gonna work. So anyway, so yesterday, so I realized like this lie of like, they can, but they won't, was this thing was like, had been stuck in my world, and I'd been trying to create everything from they can, but they won't, they can, but they won't. So what this lie does is this creates me creating projections and expectations of people and, judgments of people, judgments of myself, projections and expectations of myself. And it creates all of this other stuff, but all of it comes from this one little seed of a lie that I bought as true and real, and I've been creating from. And so it was like this whole download yesterday of like, that's what this call is about. That's what this conversation is about. That's actually the conversation that I wanted to be having with the world forever. But I haven't known the words for it. Because I'm like, there's this stuff that just isn't true. So how do you know you're buying a lie? Like, okay, cool. You are trying and trying and trying and trying and trying to change something, and you can't. It's like it doesn't change. It's like it will change a little bit, or it will change some, or it will shift this way and it will kind of move this way, and but like it doesn't really change that much. And that's the thing. It's like, so that's what I want to, and so that's part one of what I want to invite us to look at is like, what's not changing, and what's the lie that you bought that if you looked at it and acknowledged it would change it. Okay, so part number two is this thing that like everything that we buy, here's the other piece of this, and this is why I call this thing allowance. I sprinkle that shit on everything. Because part number two is it doesn't matter if you're buying a lie. You're still cool. There ain't nothing wrong with you. You're not fucked up. You don't have to go in and find out where you are buying. You don't have to go looking for lies. Trust me, in the creation of your life, moving forward, you're going to find them. You're going to run into the lies, smack into their face. You're just going to run into them. Because you're going to be like moving forward and choosing and like, why I want to change this and change my money reality and change my business reality and change relationships and all this change, right? You're going to run into the places where you are like still buying something that's not true. You don't have to go looking for them. So the other part that's true is that even if you're buying a lie, it's okay. You are okay. So I'm doing the second class. I didn't know I was going to be talking about both classes. The first class starts on Monday. The second one starts on Tuesday. The first class is the Monday class is going through the 10 keys to total freedom. And we just did it. And now I'm starting it again. Fuck it. I didn't take a break. I didn't give you any time to register for it. It's just starting on Monday. You can go to my website, christeljoycrawford.com, and sign up. But last week we were in the chapter that's called No Exclusion. It's one of the 10 keys to total freedom, no exclusion. And of course, it's one of the chapters that I didn't, I don't need to read that chapter. I got this nailed. Add on exclude. All right, well, let me just say, like, the chapters that you avoid reading are probably the chapters that are the most applicable to you. So last week we were going through no exclusion, and the one set of clearings that Gary gives us in this chapter goes like this. What contribution is to my life, my living, and my reality, and everything that doesn't allow that to show up, I destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you're new to the clearing statement, go check it out, theclearingstatement.com. And what contribution is excluding blank to my life, my living, and my reality, and everything that doesn't allow that to show up? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Well, listen, y'all. I've been using Access Consciousness tools for 4.5 years. I'm an active certified facilitator with these tools. This fucking blew my mind. And what I started to see that it did was that it gave me the space of allowance for everything I'm choosing right then, right there. And it allowed me to look at where a choice I was making was contributing to my life. And this is the thing about every single choice that we make, whether it's conscious or unconscious or whatever, it contributes to you. But we've decided contribution is a one-sided thing. Like, you know, I have these friends where they're like, they'll ask me this question, well, does it contribute to you? And really, everything contributes to me. Gary Douglas talks about this. He's like, I love it when people lie to me because it gives me so much, it's like, it's such a contribution. And that has never made sense to me, by the way. But now I get it, because it can, I mean, no, let me rephrase. I get like this much of what I'm sure is this awareness here. I'm starting to get it. But what contribution are people that lie to my life, my living, and my reality, and everything that doesn't allow that to show up, I destroy and uncreate it. And what contribution is excluding people that lie to my life, my living, and my reality, and everything that doesn't allow that to show up, times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Like, what contribution is it? So what does that do? Well, consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. So this set of clearings actually starts to include everything and judges nothing. It includes the awareness of what the contribution is that they are. It includes the awareness of what the contribution excluding them is, and it gives you space to choose. So one of the things you can do with this particular thing is, like, you can just take any fucking thing that you're resisting right now, anything, doesn't matter what you're resisting. Maybe you're resisting being successful. Maybe you're resisting going on video. Maybe you're resisting your mother. Maybe you're resisting being gay. I have no idea. I'm making shit up now. What are you resisting? Maybe you're resisting being gay. Maybe we have all these things that we do, right? Like, that we choose. You take those things, you put this in that clearing, and it starts to give you the space of allowance. And here's the thing with all of these tools and all these classes, and the ones I'm inviting you to starting Monday and Tuesday on my website, is that allowance is really the only space you can create from. We keep trying to create from resistance, and you cannot create from that space. And one of my favorite tools in Access Consciousness is the How to Become Money Workbook. It is a very strange book. It's essentially a transcript of a class that Gary did, that he was talking with another being in and on, and there's people and things. It's very strange. It's not your typical workbook. And it has you look at all these different facets of a thing, of money. Like, all these different, what does money taste like? What does money feel like? What dimension, how many dimensions does it have? What color is it? Like, all these very, very weird questions. And I find that most people, when they try to go through it by themselves, fall asleep or forget or just sleep on it, you know, instead of actually going through it. Because what it does is it fries your brain, and it gets you to look at all these bizarre ass points of view that you have about what money is, that you didn't even know you had, that you're just walking around being. You're just being this bundle of points of view because you've not brought any light of consciousness to what you're choosing with money. You're just being unconscious with money, and guess what? Your money reality is kind of fucked up, and you don't really love it, and you'd like to change it. Not all of you, but some of you. So the gift of the How to Become Money Workbook is it gets you to the space of acknowledging what's actually true underneath all this fucking lie lasagna. What's really true? I am power. I am awareness. I am control. I am power. I am awareness. I am control. I'm creativity. That energy that we use those words for in the money workbook, but that's just an energy that you be. Guess what every other fucking thing is that you've bought into? A lie. It's all a lie. It's a lie that you can't. It's a lie that you need. It's a lie that you lack. It's a lie that So we like swimming in this cesspool of lies around money, cesspool of lies around, relationships, cesspool of lies, cesspool of lies. We live in a cesspool of lies. I'm sure there's a country song in there somewhere. Okay, so what? So what contribution is living in a cesspool of lies to my life, my living in my reality? And what contribution is excluding that I live in a cesspool of lies to my life, my living in my reality? What if it was possible to create for yourself a space where nothing was wrong, including you, and nothing had to be judged, including you, and you had total choice? What would actually be possible? And the thing is, the creation of your life is only possible from the space of allowance. So if you're not sprinkling allowance on everything, if you aren't yet sprinkling that shit on everything, you may want to consider it. And all of the tools we talk about in Access will give you that space. But sometimes there's one tool that's a little more relevant at the time. And so I wanted to give you these as my gift to you, and also as an invitation to come play and dive in further to that space where you are. You are. That's the thing. That's the thing. When you have access to you in totality, your being, you can create anything. You're already creating. You may be creating very unconsciously. You may be creating very willy-nilly. You are already creating. You have creative capacities untold, untouched, untapped, miraculous creative capacities. And most of the time, because we don't choose consciousness, we don't choose awareness with what we're choosing to create from, we create a lot of interesting shit. Hi, Simon. Which is cool. But once you can actually sprinkle that allowance on everything and start to get the awareness of what you're creating from, what you're choosing, that's when your life can like just into the stratosphere. Insane. So you're invited. We start Monday and Tuesday, 2 different things. And you can check out my website for that. And you're also invited to use these in your life, whether you come to the classes or not. What would it be like if you sprinkled that shit on everything? What would it be like if you took every single thing and you asked yourself, hey, what's the lie that I'm buying here? And also, what contribution is this to my life? And what contribution is excluding this to my life? And just see what changes and opens up for you. See what that creates for you. What would it be like to be the creative source of allowance in your life instead of the creative source of trying to find out what's fucked up about you? You're not fucked up. Sorry, dude. You're just powerful. That's all. You're just powerful. You're a miracle creator, but you don't know it. You don't want to know it. That's okay. I'm going to probably keep telling you. I'm going to keep beating you over the head with the fact that you're a miracle until you listen to me or you don't. I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's it. If you like this, share it. Fuck. These are in 2 parts. There's part 1, part 2. So find the parts if you like this and share the parts. This is a mess. I'll probably delete it and repost it. I have no idea. I love you guys. Thank you for being. And come play in my classes. Come play in my world. Come play in your world in a different way. And I will see you soon.